How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Last time we had some more conversations with Rin and, oh shoot, Emmy. Good grief, almost forgot her name. So it went pretty well, I think. And today should be festival day, so we should be going on. I guess the choices we've made up until now are going to help us make some kind of a decision, I think. Someone was mentioning that the festival is kind of like the gateway to the next section, and that we'll kind of understand a bit more about the results of the choices I've made up until now, so we'll have to see how that goes. But I have a feeling it'll be exciting. It'll be interesting, especially because we get to interact with everybody, and that'll be nice. So hopefully this goes well. Hopefully there's nothing too crazy going to be happening here, but oh well, that's why we're here, right? Just to enjoy ourselves. And I guess there's really nothing else to say except, yeah, I think I tried some of the other choices that I made, and I didn't really see anything that was very consequential. Like, I remember we had the running bit, and I ran and tried to race Emmy instead of not, and I ended up, I think that actually ended up doing more for our favor with her than not. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But anyway, everything's going pretty good. I'm excited to jump into this. So let's just go right through and see what happens today. The next day I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine since it's Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday though, but the festival as well. From my window I can already see some of the people at the soba booths slinging noodles into plates for people who are craving for low quality food. I throw back a handful of my morning meds, ponder how to spend the day. There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others. So I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. With no urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. That's one thing that's kind of nice. Like, being able to attend a festival without being a member of a club would be really, like, chill. If he were actively a member of the student council or the track team or the art club, you know, he'd probably be a lot more heavily involved. And while it's nice to be involved, it could be cool, like, just for this once especially, to just make sure he has no attachments at all. So, I think he's going to enjoy it. I hope he does. Finishing my morning routine, I exit the hallway, intending to go out and find something to eat. But a wild Kenji appears, right? Passing by his door, I decide to see what Kenji's up to today out of impulse. I'm curious if he has any plans, since everyone's doing something. And again, I can picture him having built a soundproof shelter in his room. Or probably something like a fort complete with no girls allowed sign. He would, wouldn't he? And with the girls crossed out and body crudely scrawled underneath it. No body allowed? Yeah. Knocking on the door, which was luckily devoid of any kind of sign, I hear again the unsettling click of at least 10 locks being pulled back. The door opens up a crack. Who is it? You're supposed to ask that before you open the door. Oh, it's you. Dang, it's early. It's not really that early. What is it, man? Nothing. Just gonna ask you what you're gonna do today. Half the school's out there already. Out where? Why? What? What? Is today special? Why are they there? Who are? I can hear them. It's loud. Don't tell me. Has the invasion begun? He suddenly looked more alarmed. What day is it, man? Yeah, I guess you can't see big wooden booths outside and people selling stuff. What the heck are you talking about? I have turrets all the time throwing snipers. It's a festival. You know that, right? Oh crap, that's today? Oh dang. I can't believe I forgot. I forgot to build it. I don't have my fort finished yet. This is bad. This is gonna be a very bad day. It's good you told me this, man. It's gonna be a very bad day. Why? Oh man, they're gonna be everywhere. People outside my window socializing. Kenji rubbed his temple nervously, suddenly looking very ill. It's gonna be loud. Dang it. I wanted to go out today, but now it's gonna be ruined. Everything is ruined. This is awful. This sucks. What the heck? This really sucks. I can't go anywhere now. There's nowhere to run. Kenji seems nervous. You could say he's majorly freaking out. I can't believe this. So what is it? So that's what today is. Dang, I couldn't even prepare for it. I couldn't even brace myself. Now it's here and I don't have anything. You should have told me this earlier, dude. I mean, at least I know, but I could have been here earlier. Imagine what could have been accomplished. Sorry, I thought you knew. So I guess you're not going to do anything today? The weather's even good. Yesterday was really windy, so I thought today would be cold. It's not, though. There's no reason to just stay inside. Yeah, you should check out the festival. Kenji groans and covers his face with his hands. Ah, no, I can't do it. They'll eat me alive out there, I know it. This has to be a joke, but you said it with such a straight face. Relatively straight. What are you gonna do? We should hang out here. You can help me build a fort. We might make it strong if we work together. I wonder. I'm kind of hungry, but I made this deal that I try to take even better care of myself. Be healthier, you know? I don't know if I should steer clear of the takoyaki or head straight in. Deal? Sounds ominous. What are you getting in return? Nothing, I guess. It's not that kind of a deal. You know, Emmy from year one, we kind of agreed to watch each other's backs and... Ah! The shell scream as expression of abject terror in Kenji's face chilled my blood. It's as though I told a Catholic priest I sold his soul to the devil. Her! You sold your soul to the devil! Didn't get anything in return! What the heck's wrong with you, man? Don't you know what you're dealing with? She's a public health danger. Don't you know how many people she sends to the hospital monthly with her carefully placed flying tackles? She's one of them. Key player in the vast conspiracy that aims to complete the submission of everything that is manly. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I trusted your judgment, man. I thought we were brothers. You have to call it off before it's too late. This festival, too, is just one of their plays. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, like he's trying to start a fire, and then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes, running its course. I'm gonna have to find some place to hide in safe haven. Then I'll knock the lights out of myself. Then I'll knock the lights out of his, so I don't have to experience this horrible thing. What? Is he just gonna pop sleeping pills? That's kind of dark. I have the perfect thing for that. Must prepare now. Don't get the festival. Okay. Later, dude. The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how I feel about what Kenji just said. Kind of unsettling. Now I start to doubt myself. Should I bother going? I've got a book I've been meaning to read. Something about the underground portal system that may or may not exist. Postal system. I don't know why I said portal system. It's short, too. I could have it finished in a day. But would that be a good way to spend my time? Oh yeah, it definitely would be. But I suppose it would probably be a better idea to head outside. See the festival. Try to integrate with all the other sideshow acts. Honestly, I should at least make an attempt to keep up somewhat friendly personality I've had the past week. Maybe get something to eat. My stomach suggests. Almost in lunchtime. I could at least grab something from the stalls outside. I'm sitting outside, surrounded by various students and people who may or may not be their parents. Every so often I catch a glimpse of someone who just clearly came up from town for the promise of a festival. That's actually kind of good, isn't it? Like, you're putting on a pretty good festival, probably, if you're bringing in, like, just normal, everyday people. They're easy to spot. The ones who can't stop staring. Behind their eyes, you can tell they're thinking, now what is wrong with this one? I almost want to yell at them. But at the same time, can I deny that I've been doing the same thing all week? A wave of something like disgust sweeps over me. Guilt for my own narrow-mindedness. Why did I must be just on something today. I keep taking words and changing them, and now I just said narrow-mindedness. I pushed through the thought aside, concentrating on the pangs of hunger that burned my gut like a wildfire. Yeah, that looks like an actual stand for food. I guess these are all based on real pictures that have been like digitized to look like artistic. But man, that looks like super realistic. The scent of something fried leads me to the promised land, where I can get some lunch. I'm just getting my order when a loud voice interrupts me. Hey, what the heck are you doing? Having lunch? Breakfast? You mean you just got up? Suddenly, sleeping all morning feels like a crime. No, I mean lunch, honestly. She's not buying it. Brunch? That's not a healthy breakfast at all. She snatches the food out of my hand and glares at me. What the heck is this girl doing? Hey, that's my breakfast. What happened to you being your lunch? That's my... whatever, that's my food. Emmy places her hand on her hips and begins lecturing me. Did you really forget your dietary plan already? You need to be more conscious of your health, Sal. What about your heart? My heart's fine the way it is, mostly. All I get in response is a roll of the eyes. I doubt that. You wouldn't be here if that was the case, would you? The girl's got a point, of course. But I'm not about to concede it. It's not that bad of a heart. Certainly it can handle a little grease now and again. Yeah, sure, it can handle a little running just fine, too. Amy seems unconvinced. Not surprising, as I haven't even managed to convince myself. Maybe, but not if you're sleeping the day away all the time. A devious look suddenly crosses her face. Of course. If you're following the routine from the beginning, you wouldn't be in this situation. Hey, I've had a pretty eventful week, you know? For example, I almost died. There were a lot of meeting people, and they were on the roof for a while, and... Which is no excuse to slack off, you know? A little near-death experience is no excuse for skipping basic exercises. Like running in the mornings. She nods. Is something important had just been decided? So it's settled then. You've seen the errors of your ways and you're willing to adhere to my routine, right? I'll see you bright and early in the morning. We'll be running buddies. You know, you'd already convinced me yesterday that this was a good idea. You don't need to convince me again. Not that I did a good job of being convinced. She's right about eating healthy after all. Now here I am ordering something so grossly unhealthy. But delicious. There are more important things like deliciousness, aren't there? Like staying alive. I don't know, like something fell out. I think a cat was playing with something that we had leaned up against the wall and it fell down. That was really, really weird. I kind of scared for a second. It's late for loud noises. Alright, anyway, if anyone were here browbeating me for poor decisions, I'd probably... Hey, wait a second. A sudden question springs to mind. Hey, why the heck have you taken such an interest in my well-being? Emmy shrugs and grins at me. You're the new guy. I figure you don't have any friends yet, right? Besides, I've caused you trouble all week, right? I owe you for not getting angry. And I told the nurse I would anyway. Crazy little running girl wants to make me healthy. Well, I suppose there are worse fates. Okay, that sounds fine. Thanks for your concern. Tomorrow morning, then? I figured that ended the conversation, so I turned to leave. Not so fast. I feel a hand on my collar, and in a second I've been yanked backwards. Hey, no need to be so rough. What do you want now? Emily looks almost wounded by my annoyed question. Thought you could use the company. Her eyes narrow. Besides, you were just going to try and sneak some more of the fried crap, weren't you? Well, I wasn't going to, but now she mentions it, it would have, been a really good idea. I was not! Another glare. Okay, maybe I was gonna get a little. The glare continues. Okay, a lot! Jeez, I'm in danger of myself and others, aren't I? I get done agreeing that I need to be healthier, then immediately start considering the next unhealthy habit that comes my way. I knew it! You can't be trusted. Now I definitely have to stick with you. I'm getting the feeling this is going to be, I guess this is maybe where my choices have led me. This whole situation feels silly. I can only imagine what passerbys must think of the sight of me being lectured by a tiny girl half my size. Maybe I should just give up for now. Fine, do what you like. I sigh. Might as well make the best of this. What do you want to do? Emmy thinks for a minute. Well, I promised Rena I'd stop by her mural. So let's do that? I confess I'm slightly curious as to how her mural turned out myself, so again, I consider there are worse fates. I give a nod of assent and find myself being dragged bodily through the crowd as Emmy races to our destination. Good grief. This girl would be someone who would be very hard. She'd be like, I'd be impressed by her, like, if I actually were, like, talking to her, but my gosh, I wouldn't be able to keep up. By the time we reached the dorms, I could feel my heart pounding. My heart shouldn't be pounding after just that. I took a few deep breaths, willing myself to calm down. I'm one of the more normal-looking people in the school, but I still have to be here. Sometimes I'd almost wish I'd lost a hand or something. At least then it'd be obvious that I belong. Instead, I don't even look sick. Even now, trying to catch my breath, I just look out of shape. Emmy looks back and notices my state of distress. You're not gonna die on me, are you? Please don't. It'll be my fault. I don't want to deal with that kind of guilt. Besides, after last time, I really don't think I need to see that again, especially because my nurse told me to say it's all my fault. I'm fine. Guess I need to start running after all. And you wanted to keep eating your greasy whatever it was. See, it's a good thing I found you, right? Yes, it was. Maybe. He's quite the tsundere, isn't he? Of course, I don't need to add that I wouldn't be in this state if she hadn't dragged me across the festival grounds. Further conversation is interrupted by the sudden appearance of Rin. Oh, it's you. Hey, Rin. Hello, Emmy. Hey, Rin, I brought Hisao along because he was going to give himself a heart attack. I was not. My objection goes unnoticed. We stopped by to see how the mural turned out. Rin nodded slowly. Well, it's right there. You can see it pretty clearly. I find myself wondering how long Rin's been standing here in front of the mural. Has anyone even stopped by to look at it? Are we the first ones? Obviously, we're not the first to see it, of course. I mean, it's pretty big. You'd be hard-pressed not to see it. At the same time, I don't think anyone's actually talked to Rin about it. Anyone but us, that is. I feel compelled to say something. It looks pretty good. I'm still not happy with how it turned out. But I guess it'll do. She seemed almost resigned to it. I'm not sure what she expected as a result, but I guess she didn't quite get there. We stand in front of the mural, taking it all in. Very bright. I try my best to concentrate on the composition of the thing. It's actually fairly interesting. The colors swoop and blend together, dragging me along with them. I wonder who actually designed this. Like, is this based on actual graffiti art, or is this like the artists from like the creators of the game? There's a dreamlike quality to the whole thing that makes me almost feel sleepy. I try hunting out some of the other colors Emmy and I grabbed for her. Try as I might, I can't see any Parisian blue. Oh well. Or Prussian blue, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. My feet start to hurt, but Rin doesn't seem inclined to move on. Emmy speaks up. Hey, Rin, have you eaten? Of course. I can't survive otherwise. What about the past 5 hours? Maybe. But I'm hungry again, so maybe that means I'm wrong. Rin. Emmy grins and clasps her hands together. Good. Come find some food with us. Rin nods in assent. Okay, well, we should hurry before they notice I'm gone. Somehow I don't think they'll care. Whoever they are. And we head back to the food stalls. I cast a longing eye over the fried food. No, I better not. Pretty sure Emmy wouldn't let me anyway. We find a nice spot in the grass to sit down and eat our purchases. Well, my purchase anyway. Somehow I've wound up paying for all the food. Surprisingly, my unfried food is pretty good. Silence falls as Emmy and I eat, and Rin stares at something or other, occasionally eating a bite or two from her food. I finish my meal first and lay back on the grass. Emmy glances up from her food. Tired, Hisao? A little, I guess. Well, don't oversleep or anything tomorrow morning. We start our morning runs, remember? Actually, that slipped my mind. I was actually just enjoying myself. Wandering around the festival with these two had been actually fun. Yeah, I'll set an alarm. You'd better be there. I'll get angry if you aren't. God forbid. I don't think God comes into it. Unless there's some kind of freak accident and your alarm clock shorts out. That might be a random act of God. Well, don't cause any random acts of God then. Because sure, that's what happens. A plan forms itself in my mind. It's a plan that makes me feel kind of guilty, but I throw it to execution anyway. Dang it, I've earned a little fried food. And anyway, I'm gonna start running tomorrow, right? So the actual routine all starts then, not now. Ergo, the dietary portion starts tomorrow too. Ergo, I can have something unhealthy today. A sort of final farewell to all the stuff I used to eat with wild abandon before the hospital. Nope. Don't do it, man. Just cut your losses and go. Actually, I suppose I should head back to my room. I have some homework to do. If I'm gonna run in the morning, I should make it an early night. Those narrowed eyes again. You sure you're not going to sneak off, buy some of that fried stuff over there? Nah, I'm too full to bother now. I pat my stomach for emphasis. Besides, you two have cleaned me out anyway. Emmy giggles, a surprisingly pleasant sound. Another pang of guilt. She's got to know that I'm lying to her, doesn't she? Or is she just that trusting? I feel kind of like a monster. Well then don't do it! All part of my master plan, Hisao. Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning then. Thanks for the food and keeping us company. And here I thought that she was doing me a favor. Rin nods in agreement. I won't say see you tomorrow, because that would be like predicting the future, and I'm pretty sure I can't do that. Okay. Oh, okay. Bye, you two. I feel oddly glad I decided to leave my room today. Not a bad way to start my second week here, I suppose. Once I'm sure I'm out of Emmy's line of sight, I make a beeline for the food stands and buy some cake. At least it's not fried, right? That's slightly better than what I was planning to do. I still feel a little bad about lying to Emmy, though. She really does seem concerned about my health. I'll make it up to her somehow. Let her head back to my room. Hey, I do have to work to do. Interesting. Guessing by that, I'm guessing that's the kind of route I ended up with. And now that I think back on the game, like if this is the gateway to the choices, I can kind of see that there were effectively kind of like 2 moments for each like maybe group of people. I don't know. At the same time, like I know I missed dialogue with oh shoot, she's the one with the burned face. I can't remember her name. Long hair, bird face. I remember I missed an opportunity to talk to her. And then I also know that I played the risk game. I disappointed Suzumi, so I'm guessing that's why I got the 2 I got. But we'll see. I don't know if anything's quite set in stone yet. My book waits for me, and I flop back into my bed and read through the fireworks display. Oh, come on. That's like the best part of a festival. Eventually, all the walking around, or more accurately, running around, catches up with me. I really am out of shape. Amy dragging me out in the mornings, a run might be a good thing after all. It's something to look forward to. Okay, interesting. Wow, like full-on animations and stuff. Kind of reminds me of like old school anime, actually, like the 90s era stuff. Come on, man, don't die. Oh, yeah, see, don't die, dude. Is it just playing through like that? What that was? Aww, she is very sweet. Kind of crazy, but very sweet. Aww. Yeah, I think this is kind of set into stone, man. Fetch. What the heck? It's like playing a whole, like, video thing. Act 2 form. Okay. Yeah, so this sounds like it's kind of set in stone for, like, what the future is going to hold. Interesting. Well, not sure if I would actually be like, oh, this was my choice from the get-go. But you know what? That's the whole point of playing a game for the first time, is you go through it blind. And then, like, I can see other endings or other paths on my own time. Anyway, my alarm's beeping shatters the early morning quiet, and I find myself wondering where to find the motivation to rise. Class is still quite far off, but I agreed to run with Emmy in the mornings. Really, I'm not that interested in running as a hobby or even as a possible life-lengthening exercise. However, I feel obligated to follow through on my promise to Emmy yesterday, which is why I found myself throwing on some running shorts and a light t-shirt. The cool morning air caresses my face as the morning sunshine causes the dew on the grass to sparkle near the building, nearly blinding me at first. As I make my way down to the track, an ugly thought strikes me. What if this is some sort of joke that Emmy's playing on me? Why? Literally, why? First off, it does not match her personality at all to do something like that. And secondly, why on earth would she do that? Would that surprise me, really? Heck, I'd probably do it to the new guy, too. At the very least, I'm sure Emmy and Ren have a bet on whether or not I'd actually show up. I feel a sense of trepidation as the track comes into view. You're late! It would seem that Emmy's already there. What a relief. Not according to my watch. We're both early, in fact. Dang, you got me there. Emmy's sitting on the bleachers, decked out in her running gear, waiting somewhat patiently for me. I'm glad you're actually here. I was afraid this was a joke or something. Nah, I'd never make someone get up early for nothing. Plus, Ren owes me 500 yen now. She didn't think you'd actually show up. I knew it. Nice to know Emmy was on my side at least. Emmy hops off the bleachers and begins the stretching out. She's remarkably lithe, almost like a dancer. I set out to stretch as well, but then realized I don't exactly remember how to stretch properly. It's been ages since I stretched for anything, and you don't count my one stint as running last week. And even then, I don't think I actually stretched beforehand. The spectrum of my long hospital stay rises up again. Can't say with all that activity active before the hospital stay, though, so maybe I'm just being morose. Amy giggles as she watching me stretch out. No, Hisao, you gotta hold it for longer than that. I'm trying. It kinda hurts a little. Ha! That's because you're out of shape. You gotta get some flexibility in you, like this. To demonstrate, Amy reaches down and puts her head through her legs. Fetch! God bless you, Amy. I see. Is that the sort of thing I should strive for? Of course. Flexibility is important for any runner. You'll be able to go faster the more you stretch out. It's funny. So I've a curious example because I've always been a larger guy, but I've also been blessed with insane flexibility. Like, I'm not even like I'm not trying to like be, was it hyperbolic? Like, I'm not trying to like flounder. Maybe I could I can't show you here really, but like I can do some pretty crazy like stretching. So actually I probably could actually. Yeah. I can do the arm stretch thing. So like I always grew up incredibly flexible. I don't know what it is. It must be a genetic thing. I think part of it is like my joints don't lock properly. Like, you ever remember someone with a double joint thumb? Like, I can do that. Like, that's the joint kind of popping in and out of the socket. I can do that with a lot of my joints. I can do it with every single one of my fingers. Like, they can stretch back really far. Don't know if you can see that. Sorry, microphone. I can pop my shoulders in and out of socket, and I can hyperextend my legs. Like, they bend like back. And so most people stand perfectly straight. I can actually curve them inside, and like to a pretty shocking degree. When I show people, like most of them freak out. So while I can't really show you how, but I can like bend down now with my belly in the way. I can still reach down. And I can touch my toes, and so I can kind of wrap my hand around from the back like that. You know, like that's a good example of how like flexible I can be. Like, it's like oddly like therapeutic. It feels really good, but like most people can't take their elbow past the back of their head. But I've always been able to do that. And so in American schools, especially growing up, I'm not sure how it is now because it's been long enough since I was in like elementary school. They used to have this thing they called presidential fitness. It was part of a campaign by somebody, I don't even know who, to try and encourage general health amongst American youth. So what they did is they did some research and they set like basic standards of health, like how fast somebody should be able to run a mile at a certain age, how flexible they should be, how many pull-ups they should be able to do, how many push-ups they should be able to do. And so we'd routinely be tested on this during our physical education classes. And it would effectively kind of give us a yardstick to sit for. Now, obviously, I never even got close. I was always way out of shape, and my asthma didn't help either, except for the flexibility. Like, I don't, like, it's not gonna sound real, but it absolutely is real. I was more flexible than not only all the guys in my grades, but I was always more flexible than the girls, like, by noticeable degrees. For instance, there was one where they would have you sit on your butt, have your legs stick straight out in front of you, and you would you'd place your hands on top of each other, and you try and reach forward as far as you could past your toes. Most guys couldn't even get to their toes, but like it was kind of like the standard that was the presidential standard for boys was about 2 inches shy of their toes. For girls, it was about to their toes. I typically could reach 3 or 4 inches past my toes. And that's with the gut in my way. Could you imagine if I was like in good shape, like what I could do? I think I have missed my calling. I think if I had grown up, if I'd been able to stay in shape, and if I had really pushed myself, I probably could have joined Circus Olay, been one of those people who like ties themselves in knots and stuff. Like that could have been me. The things you think you can do, but the thing is, like, I really can do that stuff. It actually has caused problems. I've had 2 knee surgeries. I can tell you for a fact that both of them occurred because of bad luck, obviously putting me in the situations, but because my knees don't lock like they should. They go the wrong ways, and so the first time when I crashed my bike at a high speed, my knee kind of exploded, and they had to repair it. And then the second time, I just had a goofy step, but because my knees don't lock when they straighten out, it hyperextended too far, and my ACL snapped, and I had to get that repaired. But yeah, so Hisao, I'm sorry, man, but I can be super outflex you any day, like in the flexibility department. That makes no sense to me, but Emmy seems to believe it's true. With Emmy's help, I managed to stretch myself out properly. I can't help but notice that when she thinks about how to explain things for me, her mouth scrunches up in concentration. He's adorable. Man, he really, like, I feel like I've hit the main path, honestly. Just like, because of all the girls he met, like I said this before, all the girls he's met up until now, he's observed that he thinks that they're pretty cute. But Emmy, he's had very much, like, he's zeroed in on as being like, wow, she's adorable, wow, she's very, very fun. Like the pouty face, puppy dog eyes. Like, he's commented a lot about how adorable she is. So, like, I feel like the writers were tending to go her route as well. Not bad, Hisao. Come on, we better start running. We'll start off jogging just a mile, okay? That's 4 laps around the track. Got it? That sounds fine to me. This shouldn't be too hard, right? A hazy memory of running a mile for gym class surfaces the mind. Yeah, it sucked. Yeah, that wasn't so bad. No, for me it was. Emmy's at a pretty good pace, and I've fallen behind her. Try to keep up, okay, Hisao? Roger. We round the first curve without incident. I can already feel my heart rate increasing slightly. By the second curve, I've started to breathe through my mouth. Emmy doesn't seem to be breaking a sweat. As if to punctuate her superiority, she turns around and starts running backwards. Are you doing okay, Hisao? Never better. Oh, really? Maybe I should speed up then, Oh, no. Wouldn't want you to overexert yourself. I'll be panting and wheezing and making the statement less convincing than I had hoped. Emmy simply smiles and turns around again. You're the boss, Hisao. We'll stay at this pace. I get the feeling that I'm being mocked. If I weren't in such terrible shape, I'd probably feel offended. But the third lap, my breath is coming in ragged gasps. I'm also awash in my own sweat. Gross. We round the curve and start the fourth lap, and Emmy looks back at me with a grin. Here we go! She takes off at blinding speed while I stubbornly stick to my slower pace. By the time I get to the first turn, she's already rounding the second. As I struggle across the back stretch, Emmy continues running and catches up to me. Come on, Hisao, you can do it! I'd answer her, but I'm too focused on getting air into my lungs, ignoring the burning in my leg muscles. Part of me wants to say something like, maybe you can, but I'm about to die here. And again, I doubt I can actually form words right now. Emmy keeps pace with me as I round the second turn and cross the finish line. Her sprint seems to have gotten her sweating. It's actually causing her shirt to turn slightly translucent. Seems like she's wearing a black sports bra. Great! Funny! It's actually true. Yes, we would notice that, of course. People would. But good grief, man. Like, maybe give her a warning or something. And why would you ever make gym shirts white? I feel a vague stab of guilt for being the sort of guy who stares at a girl's chest, but the legs and chest are burning so badly I can't bring myself to care that much. Not bad for a first effort, Hisao. Kind of you to say so. Emmy seems to be, if not out of breath, at least breathing a little more heavily than she was before we started running. Must have been the sprint that she did. Hey, I've got a few sprints in. You should walk around the track to cool down. Then we can stretch out and we'll be done, okay? Sounds great. My legs are on fire, my breathing's still heavy, but surprisingly my heart seems to be taking the strain well. Another triumph of medical science, I suppose. You should put your hands up behind your head. It makes it easier to catch your breath. I remember being told that. I remember it didn't make any difference. But once again, I had asthma, so I probably wasn't a great litmus test for success. Surprisingly, she's right. I begin to stroll around the track, happy to feel my breath coming back to me. It's a blur as Emmy sprints by me. Watching her run is absolutely fascinating. It's not just because she's a pro in prosthetics, though. Though that is interesting. The really interesting thing is the way her face changes. Yeah. She's so, like, determined. She is really cute. I can only catch glimpses of it as she runs by, but her eyes seem to come alive with a sort of fierce joy. It's almost as if there's nothing in the world but her and the track. By the time I've gotten to the final stretch, Emmy seems to have finished her sprinting. She's breathing heavily now. She's wearing a satisfied grin on her face. She waves to me cheerfully as I near her. Feeling better, right? Actually, yeah. Do you want to take another lap around with me? You've got to cool down too, you know. Part of me would rather sit down and not move, but something tells me that'd be a bad idea. Besides, if I sit down, there may be no getting back up again. Sure, why not? Amy's got her hands behind her head now as well, which makes her seem very relaxed. The positioning of her arms also pulls her shirt upwards ever so slightly so I can see a small strip of her belly. I would be harsh, but it's just guys. This is the thing, and girls I'm sure are just as observant. I do my best to act the gentleman, not look, but the contrast of her skin against her red running shorts is rather arresting. So, how do you feel, Hisao? Surprisingly good, actually. I'm sore and tired, but surprisingly good. As soon as I say it, I realize it's true. Sure, part of me wants to lay down and die, but I feel like I've accomplished something. Oh man, hashtag life, like respect. It's like, oh man, like it's like, it seems like a quote for a calendar day. Like, you're to death. It's like, part of me wants to lay down and die, but I feel like I've accomplished something. It's almost like the glow through my body that persists deep despite the soreness. Yeah, that's the runner's high. I've never experienced that. That's the thing. Okay, so I've known plenty of people who like to run. They all talk about the runner's high and how it really feels good. And even though like part of you's tired, there is like a good like a rush and a good feel to it. Never in my life have I experienced this. Even when I was trying really hard to be physically fit, even when I was playing lacrosse and physically active all the time, doing trainings every week and going to games every other week, like, I never once felt what they describe as a runner's high. Never in my entire life. Runner's high? Yeah, has something to do with adrenaline? Amy thinks for a moment as we walk, trying to remember. Then she shrugs and grins at me. I don't actually remember. It's a good feeling though, isn't it? Better than sex, right? Well, how would you know? I opened my mouth to respond shortly before processing what she just said. Amy watching my face a few moments before bursting into laughter. Sorry, I couldn't resist. You're just too easy. Why did I agree to run with you again? Amy just laughs harder. She takes hold of my forearm and tilts it, allowing her to get a better view of my watch. Her face changes the moment she sees the time. Oh no, we better get a move on, Hisao. Class is in an hour and I need to shower. I should probably do that as well. I need to see the nurse too. Maybe he'll write me a note for being late. Why do you need to see the nurse? Amy points to her prosthetics as if that would explain everything. It's important to check for irritation. You know, from sweat or friction or anything. Normally I go after practice, but we're going to be doing these morning runs, and I guess I'll have to see him twice a day. Wait, so Amy has only started doing these runs since I showed up? If it's more convenient for you to run with me at a later time. Don't be silly. I've been meaning to start running in the mornings for a while now. But if you didn't have a partner to run with, I'd be less likely to keep up the routine. It's always harder to blow off a commitment when you're going to if you're going to let someone else down, you know? So you'll be my running partner for the mornings. We both need the exercise, so it all works out, don't you think? It really does. Like, you need someone like that to help you. Like, even just knowing you have someone to report to can be a huge help, which is why, like, right now, I'm having some of the best success I've ever had with my personal weight management, and it's because I'm in that program. I'm accountable to my doctors, my trainers, my family. Like, I have people I report to, and I check progress with, and then they support me and uphold my desires to be healthier. It's hard. It's horribly hard. And it kind of gets depressing when I go out places like when we go to the food markets, or when we go to farmers markets, or we go to like the mall, and we go out to eat. There's so much stuff that I want to eat that I can't. So much food that I love that I no longer can touch. So much stuff that's been a part of my life and food can be a source of joy, and I have to sequester a lot of it away. I'm relearning how to eat food, and I'm teaching myself how to do so within the bounds and restrictions I need. But what helps is having accountability. And the hardest part is actually that first initial hump, because when you first try and start being healthier, it takes a while for anything noticeable to happen. Even hopping on the scale, the changes are going to be very small. And so it sometimes can be very, very hard, and that's usually where people kind of fall back on their old habits. But if you keep persisting, you start to see noticeable changes. And I'm finally getting to the point where I can really start to see the differences that are happening in my life. The clothing is fitting better. Things I couldn't wear because I'd grown out of them are now suddenly back. I can wear again. I have a lot more energy than I used to. And so like now, I'm a lot more motivated, and it's not as hard. It's still hard. It's still crazy hard, but having that that support in your life is so critical to making big positive changes that require like a lot of determination and discipline. Because it gives you that other person to lean on and trust, and that other person's there and accountable, and it has to be somebody who's there for you, you know? And like that's like the program I'm in is so wonderful because I can genuinely feel like the doctors and specialists I've been talking to, they want to see me succeed. They want to see me make a difference. I have my wife and my friends. I have these people who are close to me, who stand by me, and who encourage me. They're not derating me or making fun of me. Like, it means so much to have that. Sure, I mean, if I had to do this alone, I'd like to think I could, but I'm lucky because I don't have to find out. So, I don't know. If you want to make positive changes in your life, like, get a partner. They don't even have to do a whole lot of it with you, but as long as they support you. Like, for my instance, like my wife, she doesn't have to like eat the same foods I like. She's not restricted like I am, but she understands what my restrictions are, and she goes out of her way to make sure to get good food that can work for me. We talk about potential types of things we could do. She looks for restaurants that serve food that I can actually eat. We found this wonderful Thai place recently that serves this really cool whole grain rice that's like delicious and yet very good for me. And they use a lot of whole ingredients. You can actually see that they're not processed, but they're actually like stuff that they buy locally and they use in their restaurant. Like, that's such good food for me. And then ultimately just being there and supporting and like being willing to go out of her way to like make and find recipes for me and surprising me with new dishes and twists in dishes that we haven't been wanting. We've been trying to make cauliflower pizza for a while now, because pizza is one of the things I absolutely miss the most. It was my favorite food, and I've had to give it up completely. But it's just so wonderful to have that support. So, like, I don't know. It can sometimes feel like you don't have anyone around you, but if you really look around, I bet you'll find somebody who can be there for you. And just take that chance and jump at the opportunity to make your life better in whatever way. And that's the nice thing about this too, is like, I used to be motivated to try and lose weight, and I did so improperly once, but under the motivation of like a self-depreciation, self-hatred. I hated my size and I wanted it to go away. And so I used that as fuel to fuel like an unhealthy lifestyle, a destructive lifestyle. But then this time around, I'm doing it not because I'm gonna get to a certain shape. I'm not doing it because I hate myself. I love myself. I was happy even while I was larger than I'd ever been in my whole life. I was happy for who I was and the things I've been doing. And this channel is a big part of that too. And now I'm making positive changes, not because I feel like I don't deserve it or because I am a terrible person, but because I want to make a change. And it's actually working. And I feel so good and so healthy compared to it. Anyway, I know I've been ranting a lot about this. It's just, this is striking a chord with me. And maybe this is the ending I want to go down. I really didn't think I want to. And I'm going to be doing some parallel games on my own because I want to see some of the other routes that are possible. But maybe this is a good one for me because it's going to be so parallel with the types of choices I've been making right now. Kind of like Hisao, where it's difficult for me compared to other people. It's harder for me than it is for an average person. And I'm going to be facing struggles and climbing mountains that most people don't have to. But by having somebody up by my side who wants to be there for me, that makes the difference, all the difference in the world. Yeah, perfect. Did it have to be me, though? Well, I guess I can't complain too much. Emmy's pretty fun to hang out with. And she's right. I do need the exercise. Doctor's orders, even. Emmy waves a quick goodbye to me. Right, I'm off. Come have lunch with us, okay? What? Lunch! You know, the middle of the day. Come have it with us. Where? The rooftop? Rin likes it up there. When? Lunchtime. When else? That's a silly question. Yeah, but I sort of felt like the need to ask all three for completeness sake. Emmy laughs and grins. Oh, fetch! I clicked. I didn't mean to. Curse you, hand! Anyway. Emmy laughs and grins. I don't think I've ever seen a girl smile so much before. She is a sweetie. Not bad, Hisao. See ya. With that, she takes off like a shot for the school building. Yeah, she's gonna go see the nurse first. I hurry back to my room, hop in the shower, only to find that the water takes a while to heat up. Shock of the cold water nearly kills me. I managed to warm the water a bit and spend some quality time feeling my muscles loosen. My heart, surprisingly, feels like the least bothered by the run. I suppose that's a good thing. You know, it does make me feel a bit of a wuss. I mean, at least I'd have the excuse beyond I'm out of shape if my heart were bothering me. See, that's the thing, too. Like, asthma kind of does that as well. Where, like, I'll go do a run or an exercise, and I come off it heaving, but my muscles don't actually feel all that tired. Because I didn't really have to push myself before my lungs just gave out, and I just couldn't do it anymore. It can be really frustrating. And unfortunately, like, there's no medication I can really take because the medications most people take are for severe asthma. Mine's super minor. And so, I don't qualify for, like, the big, like, inhaler treatments. I just have an emergency inhaler, and it's only kind of a Band-Aid you stick on it. And so, it's always going to be a struggle for me. Maybe they'll be able to invent something more key for me, but they focus a lot on the people who have severe asthma. They don't focus so much on minor asthma, it just gets in the way. Guess I'll have to keep the running thing up, otherwise I'm sure Emmy won't let me hear the end of it. It's only after I get out and dry myself off that I realize I have only 10 minutes left to put my clothes on and get to class. Boy, run! Crap. And the clock finally set me free from the tedium of yet another fun-filled class. I think we actually should end here. I did a lot of ranting this episode, it's true, but we had a lot of good stuff happen, and I don't want to jump into too much before, like, I have to move on for, like, what I'm going to do next. So thank you so much for being here today. So it looks like, I mean, the whole cutscene thing sends a pretty big flag that I'm on a route. And I'm curious, though, because it only showed Emmy, so I wonder if Rin's even a route in this game or not. If I have to pick between the two, I have no clue how that's going to play out, but I'm feeling a lot better about it than I did initially when I kind of realized, oh, I guess this is the path we're heading down. I'm going to do a couple other paths, I think, on my own time and kind of just compare and contrast them as I go, but for the most part, I'm excited to see where this is going to go and how this plays out in the end. But, hey, I'm sure you know that by now, so thank you so much for sticking around with me and continuing to watch the series with me. I guess if it is kind of set in stone, like people have hinted at in the comments up till now, I guess the poll that the put on in the Discord, I guess it's probably pretty over now. Unless, well, I guess no, it's not over yet. It's kind of over. But if there's a choice, if I do get the choice between Emmy and Rin, then maybe we shouldn't reveal it quite yet. But if I don't have a choice in that, go ahead and like let me know, and I'd love to take a peek at what you guys thought. I really want to do more kind of polls with the community in the future. I love like seeing what you guys think, because a lot of you know what I'm getting into before I get into it. And then even those of you who haven't played it often get an opportunity to download and play a game before I can finish it. And so you still get to have that insight that I kind of get to digest slowly. And so I love kind of seeing your anticipation. Although it does make it so like I get lots of comments on the first few videos of a series and the last few videos, but the stuff in the middle tends to get a lot quieter, and I think that's a lot of you just trying not to spoil anything. So I appreciate that, but it can be a little disconcerting sometimes. But thank you guys so much for sticking around. I'm loving this series so much, and the crazy thing is like I already know I kind of worked out and figured out like where I want to go after these series too. Like the current 3 I've got going right now. A few weeks ago, I was kind of up in the air juggling what I want to do. I've now got some solid decisions on what's going to be coming next. Good grief. I was looking in my library and looking at my planned like personal schedule. Like I compare and contrast the notes with what people recommend in Discord. So if you ever want to recommend a series, like put it in Discord, and repeat votes is good. You know, it helps me know how many of you are interested in the series and makes it more likely I'll probably bump it up in the schedule. But I was realizing, I think I currently own enough visual novels to take us through the next couple of years. And I was actually surprised, like, they have a sale going on Steam right now. And I usually use that to grab up some stuff that's been on my mind, but I just haven't quite, like, taken the time to grab because the discounts tend to be pretty good. I actually found 2 series that I've got my eyes on that I went in, I was like, all right, this is a good time to buy them, that I had already bought, and I'd forgotten that I'd already purchased, so I'm already way ahead of myself. So keep in mind, like, when this is over, there's plenty more stuff to explore, and I also have a pretty fun relationship with the company Fruitback Factory. They do a lot of translations that publish later onto Steam, and they sent me one, I guess it's I'm hoping we'll be able to do the whole thing, but we have to talk to the developers first because they have some requirements about it so far. But it'll definitely be the one we do after this. It's actually one that's been pretty popular. Like, I guess in Japan it got a lot of attention, and it's been doing really well even in the Western market. So I'm really excited because most of the series I've been doing on my Fridays have been the smaller series that don't get a lot of attention. So this will be a unique change from that, just because it's a bit more of a mainstream title than I'm used to doing on Fridays. So we'll have to see how that turns out. But anyway, that's enough about future talk. I'm sure you just don't want to hear any of that at all. Thank you so much for being here for another Katawa Shoujo, another sojourn into the life of Hisao and all his crazy antics. And man, they are pretty crazy. But thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure having you as always. And until the next video, you're watching the video, have to see me next. I'll see you there.